Good morning, one and all. This is the Blue Mountains Model Rail Project. I'm Andy, and this is video number 5. Okay, I thought I would just cover off just a few more things for you, and today's video is going to be about a few items that I got in my Christmas stocking last year. And as you'll see, we have the usual tools to be used for when you're modelling or doing any kind of craft work. I have the self-healing A4 size cutting mat, which I managed to pick up for, I think, $4. The art store was actually having a 50% off everything in the shop. So if I'd have realised that and hadn't bothered to look at the pricing for the A3 size mat, I would have gone for the A3. These usually retail in this particular store for roughly, I don't know, $9 give or take, but I think it was either $4 or $4.50 or something like that. The couple of Exacto knives. There's one for more heavy duty work, and my wife got me this little baby for doing more precision work. And I got this also from a hardware store known to Australians worldwide. Australia-wide at least anyway. The old Helping Hands. I think this was probably about $14-15, something like that. Can't remember the exact price. And always handy to have these things, especially if you're working on scratch built stuff, or you're working on small circuit boards, or just want to solder some wires together and whatnot. Always handy to have that extra pair of hands, even if they are mechanical. And then for Secret Santa, which I bought for myself, I thought this was too much of a great offer to miss out on, and I was after some steel rulers, or at least one steel rule. Excuse me. And whilst I was looking in the craft store, they were selling their steel rulers for anywhere from $20, $30, $40, and I'm thinking, I don't really want to be paying that much. So went to Bunnings, and they were doing a pack of 2 steel rulers, 600mm and 300mm obviously, for I think it was just under $5. I think it was $4.80. So yeah, quite pleased with that. That was a really good purchase. I've been pricing up the sheets, and I've been pricing up all kinds of materials, and seems that the more commonplace I guess insulation or track mat kind of material, or track bed material, people seem to be going for cork. And I've looked around a number of places. I have actually found another place which does actually specify that they use it for railway modelling too, and I've yet to hear back from them, so maybe they're not open yet. It's still, I suppose, the Christmas period at this time of the year. So they do various sheets. They also do rolls in various thicknesses too. In the interim, my wife spotted these on a certain Swedish furniture company's website, and if I just quickly put that there, you may be able to see the name. If I actually just bring that up and quickly move away. I don't want to be giving them any free advertising, but in this case, this is well worth the money. Obviously, this looks like placemats, and you get them in a pack of 4. They're about 2mm thick, and the actual dimensions are 42 by 32 centimeters in width, and in English that's 16.5 and 12.5 inches. So as I said, you get them in a pack of 4. So my wife was actually in the shop at the time, and she had mentioned these to me and said, would these be of any use to you? And I went, well, I don't know. I'd actually have to have a look and see what's what. Normally placemats are quite solid. I'm thinking, well, I don't really want anything too solid. But these are actually ideal. And I have actually put these under the track, and such a big difference. Quite a difference. I mean, even if you double these up to make it 4mm and then glue it in place and chamfer it off and whatnot if you need to. But for $5 for a pack of 4, my wife bought me 2 packs, so I've got 8 of these sheets thus far. And yeah, so from my initial tests of running trains round with the track lying over this cork matting, it works an absolute treat, and quite I guess a money saving option, as opposed to spending probably more money than I need to, because I mean, obviously once you've got the track ballasted and whatnot, it does tend to, I suppose, lose some of its soundproofing material or cushioning, depending on how you set everything in place. But yeah, I think for $5 that's a really good buy. Okay, moving along. A few things I've been doing whilst I've obviously relocated the layout into another section of this room. This is going to be its final resting place, as it were. And I've been busy printing off a few things and playing around with track and point work and whatnot, just to get some ideas of what I can and can't do. And also, during that time, I've been looking at the Peco stuff. So, obviously from the Peco website, I've been printing off the Peco Streamline Code 100 turnouts and crossing plans. And in case you're wondering why I've gone for the Code 100, well, I have a lot of Code 100 track, and I really can't afford to replace all this stuff at the moment with Code 75, as much as I would dearly love to. You know, a lot of people, especially on the forums, recommend that you go for the Code 75. It's more realistic, it's you know, smoother running and so on and so forth. And even with the Code 100 Flex track, which is here, I don't know whether it's just me or whether it's just it is actually the track that just seems to be so much better. And I've only been running some wagons up and down the Flex track just to see, you know, what it's actually like. Never actually used it before. So whilst I've been laying out all this track here, I decided to see what I could use in terms of better turnouts. As you know, I've been using these. If you've been following me thus far, I've been using the Hornby Turnouts, and there's obviously one or two issues, and the actual realism of these things is not that crash hot. But anyway, so I printed out this is the large radius turnout, and this is the medium radius turnout. And in all honesty, there isn't a great deal of difference between the two, other than obviously the size, and possibly this turnout here is obviously going to be a longer or a wider radius. The other point to note, and no pun intended there, is the actual angle of attack that the turnout takes. It's really quite a shallow turnout compared to, and albeit I'm kind of comparing apples with oranges here, but just to give you some idea, I mean, if I rest this on top of where the point on the printout starts, or the turnout, this is, I believe, second radius on the standard Hornby turnout, and it's really quite aggressive. And I'm not too sure if in the real world this would actually be the case. I'm sure there would be situations where they would have to have a sharp turnout, mainly for sidings, for storing wagons and so on, not necessarily for big locos or for coaches and stuff like that. But I'm sure somewhere in the world there would be a situation where that kind of a turnout would be required. However, if I just quickly pan round here, I've been trying to emulate I suppose a station area here, and this is obviously not a final plan or resting place for the track. This is just scratching out ideas. And as you can see, if we can imagine that we've already got this medium radius turnout by Peco in situ, and I've got this flex track in place and connected to that point, then the actual smoothness of the bend, some of it's a little bit straight, some of it's not, and it just gradually bends into the station area over here, and it's so much smoother and again looks more realistic. So what I suppose I'm trying to convince myself is to do away with those, completely move away from the Hornby points, and go on to the Peco streamline stuff, which I have been considering, and I just need to, I guess, save up my pennies and start buying pieces of more Peco flexi track and the Peco turnouts. Initially I'll be starting off with, I suppose, the medium radius stuff, and then going on to the larger radius, and then also look at some of the crossings, the diamond crossings, and the other crossings that they do, the double slips and the single slips, which are, I think, anywhere from $70 to roughly $85, I think, depending where you shop. So, and obviously depending on what you, which slip you go for. So, that's where I am at thus far. With that, I'm going to close this one off. I think I've covered off the things I needed to cover off. I've still got a lot of work to do. I'm actually going to try and lay some track down, so at least I can run some trains. And I also need to clean off an old Hornby controller which I found in a box which was just stored away for all eternity, and it's kind of filthy, as you can see. And strangely enough, I actually had the transformer connected to it as well, so quite a happy find. So it just needs a bit of a clean up, and everything's there. It's got the connectors in there, so yeah, I'm happy. Okay, so now I have 3 controllers. I have those to consider and get some pricing, and probably start buying maybe one a week, or one a couple of, maybe 2 a month, maybe, depending. And hopefully I can start working on the track in a more efficient manner now. And oh yeah, that's something else I wanted to cover off as well. I actually found my Hornby track software. There was the HVR2 and the Hornby layout CD. So I'm going to install that on my Windows 10 machine this morning, or maybe this afternoon. I've got an interview today, so for a job, and fingers crossed, if that all goes well, then I can probably start replacing some of these sooner than I'd planned. So stay tuned. Many thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Just nothing really much to to show, but just a few ideas and a few things that I've been working on. And any comments, any suggestions, please feel free to post them in the comments below, and to stay tuned for any future updates, which seems to be coming on a regular basis at the moment. So if you want to stay up to date with me, then please don't forget to subscribe. With that, say bon voyage and happy railroading. Thanks for watching.